Greetings, I'm Doc V, and we're going to talk a little bit about relationships. Before that, I want to do a little bit of this love song that I heard back when I was in college. A friend of mine, Persephone, I remember her saying, "Vaughn, you got to come to the lounge. Luther Vandross is getting ready to sing his new song." And I said, let me go check this out. And I sat there in amazement as he began to talk to the audience. And he said, "A chair is still a chair, even though there's no one sitting there. A chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when climb the stairs and turn the key, oh please be there, still in love with me." I can't do it like Luke. I want to talk about relationships. Not work relationships, not relationships between parents and children, but man-woman relationships. People that date, want to get married, want to have a family. I want to talk about that. There's certain dynamics that it took me years to learn that are involved in relationships. Men and women think differently, emote differently, have different emotions, have different needs. And it's funny how we're attracted to each other, but when we get together, we find that things don't line up and things don't match up the way we think they should or could. And if we don't communicate, we'll start missing each other. One example, as I think about it, and I'm talking about healthy, wholesome, realistic relationships where people are trying to meet up and see who is their potential mate for the rest of their lives. I'm not talking about this crazy stuff that's been going on in the media where certain artists or people that are famous have gotten into these lavish and crazy kind of situations where there's some sex scandals going on. I'll just leave it at that without mentioning any names. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about normal, everyday meet and greet type of things. I was speaking to someone in church today, and she was talking about how there's just 2-3 times more women in the church than there are men. And she knows that I'm single, and she says, "There's a lot of choices out here. There's some women out here. Why don't you see about meeting somebody? There might be some people that are interested in you, hint, hint." And I said, "Oh, I got to be careful with this. Got to be real careful, because you can't just move from woman to woman, even if it seems innocent and you're just going out to dinner or maybe sitting together in church or walking out holding hands. And then you decide, well, I don't think that this is the one for me. And then all of a sudden you try to switch up and go another way." Not in the small church, not in the black church, not in the churches where I came up in, and not even in the working environments can you carry on in this way. For example, I'm a school teacher, and most of the administration and the staff is female. And if I decided I wanted to befriend or get close to one of the staff members, if things didn't work out, that's it. There's nobody else in that particular circle or in that community that I can approach in that way. No time soon, no. And in my small church, where in attendance there might be 300-400 people in attendance, and people are pretty much aware and know who's in the choir, who's on the usher board, who are the deacons, who's in the children's choir, who's married, who's single. Pretty much everybody knows. So if I approached a woman and I decided, I like her. I want to talk with her, spend some time with her. And it's noticed that we're spending this time together, and say that goes on for, I don't know, a period of weeks, maybe months. And then all of a sudden, it's over with. And people are asking, and people know. They say, well, what's going on? I notice I don't see y'all together anymore. Well, it didn't work out. Well, what happened? Well, we just had some differences. And, well, I'm sorry, you okay? Yeah, I'm all right. It's okay. Now, that being said, to pick up and try to move a man or myself if that happened to me and I tried to move from one woman that didn't work out and tried to move to another woman, boom, your name is junk at that point. Like, what are you doing? I thought you were talking to whoever, Sally Mae, or what's going on? Well, that didn't work out. Well, women have an unspoken code. If you're talking with any woman in their environment, in their circle, and it doesn't work out, you can't drop it and then pick another one. No, that's not happening. I learned that a long time ago. I've seen people, they get in church and they're trying to they see all these beautiful women, they're trying to, oh man, what's going on? And all of a sudden they get a bad name for themselves. Then nobody wants to talk to them. I learned that at a critical time way back, and I walk in that knowledge. There have been some women that I have been interested in or attracted to, but I keep it platonic and at a distance. I see them at church, I see them at the grocery store, I'll see them at the mall, how you doing? And some of them we've exchanged numbers, but I'm careful not to let the conversation go too far, not to get together and do too much, maybe a movie or go out and grab some waffles at the Waffle House every once in a while, and no putting hands on or, none of that. That would cause an inappropriate, not inappropriate, but a confusing message. If you're going over and you're seeing them and you're holding hands and you want to kiss them, and next thing you know, okay, that's not the one, go to the next one. And then you think you're going to go to the next one and they're going to have nothing to say about it. No, that's not going to happen. So that being said, you really must be led by the Spirit, and you must really be discerning and wise when it comes to approaching someone for more than just being an associate or a friend, but you're feeling something past that. If you're not careful, you could hurt someone. You could cause them pain. You could cause them a little grief for them and yourself. If you surveyed or Googled crimes or people that have been destroyed or placed in prison because of a domestic violence type of situation, or two people got into a conflict, 7, 8 out of 10 times, this conflict, 7 or 8 out of 10 times, this conflict was formed around some emotions, some relationship drama, somebody feeling close to someone and then they're rejecting them, or someone being in a relationship and after a period of time they decide they don't want to be in this relationship anymore and they want to break it off, they want to go and try something else, and the other person says, okay, I get it, I understand, but then they find that they can't deal with this. And they go back and they try to get the person back. And then there's some retaliation and there's some anger. And then they see the other replacement mate or companion. And they want to fight and they want to attack verbally. And that can turn into physical. And the next thing you know, somebody's in jail or somebody's hurt or even somebody's dead. Crimes of passion is the number one crime. I can think back on an incident when I was in college. There was a lady that I was dating, and she decided that she wanted to date someone else or talk with someone else. They felt that this was a better situation. And I was devastated. I was hurt. I was demoralized. I'm like, what in the world? And to make a long story short, there was a time where I saw them together, where if there was not a proper intervention, I could have put my hands on one or both of them, and something very tragic could have happened. During that same time, there was a couple that came to the university. This was 20-something, 30 years ago, came to the university because they were dating. They came to the same college. They dated all in middle school, high school. I heard this later. And they came to college together. She was from a small country town. They were both from a small country town. She was very beautiful. And men were young men, 18, 19, 20-year-old college students were trying to approach her. They were coming at her. And she decided, I didn't know that I could attract young men like this. And I need to break up with my boyfriend, and we just need to be friends, and I need to go see what's going on here. I'm young. I want to see what's going on. The man couldn't take it. He ended up, this sounds terrible, and I guess this video is not for children, so I guess I can say this. He attacked her and he stabbed her several times, and he killed her and was arrested and was put in jail for murder for life. I don't know when his parole is coming up, but I believe he's still in jail. Terrible situation. Another friend of mine witnessed it and had to testify, and I still have the article in my scrapbook. I won't name the person that witnessed this, but I've got pictures and articles, and the people that know me and went to school with me that see this video, they're going to know who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about. It's a terrible situation. I have felt grief and anger to the point where I could have put my hands on someone or hurt someone. It's a devastating, hurtful feeling when you're dealing with someone's emotions. So, knowing that and having a little bit of experience, I joke with my students sometimes when they're trying to challenge me on something. I tell them either, do you think I got this old and ugly, not knowing anything? And then they would laugh and say, oh, you're not ugly, Dr. Shores. And I'd be like, oh, I know, I'm okay. And another thing I tell them that cracks them up in some of my classes, I'll say, listen, if I was in here for my looks, I'd be prettier than this. And they start cracking up. And I'd say, yeah. Anyway, getting to the point. I've learned that emotions are fragile and must be respected and dealt with properly. So I don't mess with anyone's emotions. I don't want them messing with my emotions, so I don't mess with theirs. I can think of an incident where a young lady would come up to me at church, and she'd greet me. How you doing? Give me a hug. How you doing? And she was just wonderful, sweet, wonderful. I never thought of it past just a platonic friendship relationship, man-women relationship. No, just friends, brother and sister. And one day we had a double service, and I played in the band. I was playing in the band for a real early service, and then we break for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then we had the second service. Well, on this particular Sunday, the deacon board had a breakfast. And I mean, it was a full spread. Grits, eggs, hash browns, bacon, sausage, 4 kinds of juice, grape juice, orange juice, apple juice. It was ridiculous. I had gospel music playing in the background and people were coming in. Anyway, I was standing in line, and this particular lady that I was just talking about, she ran and cut in line with me. She said, oh, Vaughn, how you doing? I said, hey, girl, gave her a hug. We were going in line just talking about nothing. And then we got in the line, and the breakfast was $10. The money was going toward something that was beneficial to the church and to the community. And I was getting ready to pay the $10, and she took the $10 and said, put it back, I got you. And I said, no. And she heard and paid the the $20 for me and her and pushed us through the line. I was like, why'd you do that? I said, I'm going to pay you back. She said, no. She said, I want to sit next to you anyway. I want to talk. I got a problem. I'm trying to deal with this problem. I said, okay, let's sit down. I had the apple juice going, orange juice. Oh, did I mention milk? Grits with butter or regular grits? Oh my goodness. Sausage, scrambled eggs. We were going at it. And all of a sudden she said, Vaughn, I got a problem. I said, what is it? She said, there's this guy that I like. And I said, really? Tell me about it. She said, he's just nice and he's got a sweet personality and he's good looking. And I greet him and I talk to him and he just keeps on moving. He's nice to me, but he keeps on moving. He just doesn't stick around. And I'm like, well, I don't know. She said, well, what should I do? So I'm chopping up the eggs and getting the sauces and everything. She said, Vaughn, what should I do? I said, just smack him on the back of the neck and say, hey, I'm here. Pay attention to me. And I was just joking. You know, we're sitting there eating and talking. All of a sudden, without any warning, smack, I got hit in the back of my neck and I looked at her and she said, it's me. Why can't you look at me past the friendship? It's me. I smacked you on the neck. Now what are you going to do? And all of a sudden, I drank a long drink of apple juice and I put it down and I put my head down. I said, oh boy. And I said, and I can't remember, I'm not going to mention her name right there. I said, dear, I said, you are really bold. And I said, I really appreciate you. I said, you will always be my friend for life. I said, but I got to be honest with you. And I got to do you how I'd want to be done. And I said, you're sweet, wonderful lady. I said, but as far as you and I getting in a relationship or something intimate or something further than that could lead to something, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling that. And she caught me off guard and she smacked me on the back of the head and I'm sitting there looking at her and I'm like, oh man, oh shoot. Have you ever seen someone look at you and they're smiling, but they've got tears coming out of their eyes at the same time? They're smiling at you and frowning and tears coming out at just the same time. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, baby. And I gave her a little church hug, you know, and I took the rest of my breakfast. I don't know if I finished it and threw it out or whatever. And the conversation didn't go too much farther after that. Wasn't much else left to say. Anyway, I did it right. I didn't show up with another woman the next week. I continued to greet her in a positive way. And I say to you that we must take care of each other, take care of our brothers, take care of our sisters, and not mess with anyone's emotions, because your emotions are the deeper, most intimate part of you. And we must be careful when we break out of friendship and talk about getting into something special and something intimate. I'm Doc V, and I'll see you next time. I was not meant to live alone, turn this house into a home where I climb the stairs and turn the key.